So I really believe that the real estate landscape is changing, and I feel like there is so much conversation around realtor commissions and compensation and lawsuit that nobody is talking about the fact that realtors are very, very different than they used to be. And not only different than they used to be, but we have this really weird divide now where we have realtors who just got into the business in the last couple years while the housing market was going crazy, and they know how to maybe win in a multiple offer situation, but they have no idea how to list a house when there's not multiple offers. And then we have realtors who've been around forever who are kind of sticking with the same tools of the trade and not really updating things as we are now moving into a TikTok and digital society. And while yes, photos have been around for quite some time, homes really are getting sold through viral videos now. And it's this really weird mix of kind of several different people and several different types of agents out there, and nobody's really talking about that type of blend that needs to happen, or I guess the merging that needs to happen of those different skill sets in order to formulate a really well-rounded person working for you to sell your home. Now, I will say that there are pockets in the market that doesn't demand the person that knows how to present your home on TikTok, because the house is going to sell in 2 days anyway, and it's probably not even going to reach the right amount of people. But then there's also pockets where if you don't have the top-notch visual presentation, you're going to be in serious trouble. So I wanted to unpack a little bit of that, some of the differences that I'm personally seeing in the market right now, and then maybe some tips for you, either if you are a realtor or if maybe you're a seller trying to figure out how to navigate that you can then move forward with and have as tools as you're making those decisions for yourself. So let's talk first about market familiarity. I think that is obviously one of the most important things. Like, you have to have somebody working for you that actually knows what they're doing, knows how to present your home on the market with the right pricing and all of that. In terms of pricing, I think the skill for pricing a home has definitely changed with time, because now we're seeing auto calculators out there like Redfin and Zillow. We as realtors even have an automated tool here in Washington State that tells us an approximate range, but it doesn't take into consideration anything you've done to your home. So let's say you've gone in with new paint or a new kitchen remodel, or maybe you've added a whole room. None of those calculators are capturing them. They're also not capturing whether or not your home has unique features like a mountain view or a water view. I had a listing where there was somebody who was looking at selling their property and they thought, maybe it was around $550. But what they didn't realize is that the auto calculator was thinking that they did not have a view because all the rest of the houses around them didn't have a view. They actually did have a view, and they were at like $675. Now, this was like a while ago. So obviously houses with views aren't $675,000 anymore, but at the time they were shocked. They thought for sure their price wasn't as high as it was going to be. And so being able to come in and know what the changes are going to be, know what an appraiser is probably going to do, because keeping in mind, we're also not appraisers. Appraisers have gone to school for multiple years. They have a very strict way of pricing a property, and while we are familiar with what they do, that is not our job. Our job is to position a house in the market that's going to get it the most activity and is going to ultimately get you then under contract to go to an appraisal. So just keep that in mind. I think it's also super important that people are checking, though, that they're actually getting an updated price point. And especially if you're thinking about selling your home by yourself, you might have a hard time figuring out what that price point is. Pro tip, if you are thinking about selling your home by yourself, get an appraisal. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to be a whole lot better than Zillow. And I have links for guides on how to sell your home without a realtor. So if you want that, you can just go check those out. I'm happy to give them to you. Okay, so on to, beyond pricing, now we're looking at strategy in terms of getting your home actually sold and the marketing kind of materials that we need around that. There is this big divide between videography that is professional and videography that is like groundbreaking, that is going to change your home. And I say that for both videography and also photography. Probably most important is photography, because there is a big difference between somebody coming in with a DSLR camera, and I'm not talking about people that are doing iPhones. They're a whole another category. People are coming in with a nice camera, taking a photograph of a room. I've had agents and I've had clients where they've had photos in the past that were taken by professionals, and I come in with my photos and they are dramatically different. The whole intention of photography is getting people in the door of your home. So while we certainly are not being deceitful on what we're actually photographing, we're not, making changes on the photo itself. We want it to look as good as it possibly can be. It's like models, right? We want the model to show off the clothes in the best possible light. We want the photography to show off the house in the best possible light. So there is a strategy there. It is worth the money to have somebody really high end. Heard a story of a realtor the other day. She spent 10 grand on her listing photography. Totally worth it. So just keep that in mind. It is super, super critical that your realtor has top-notch photography, videography, and then viral reels and TikToks are very much becoming a thing. And so do they have a book that is starting to put together those like more viral trendy things, and are they getting exposure? Because having one that is, viral and having one that is viral with exposure is very, very different, right? I don't necessarily care that my listing goes across the entire United States. I care that my listing goes around the area of people who are wanting to actually purchase and in like this specific area. So I had one, I had like 1.2 million views. It was fantastic. But I'm looking at the analytics and it's people from like New York and like the other side of the nation that I know that they're not relocating here. So I don't care that they're seeing it. But I've had others with tons of engagement. Maybe it's only like 1,000 views, but because of the engagement and the saves, I'm now having one-on-one conversations with those potential buyers and actually generating appointments for those buyers to come see the home from that. It's not just the video, it's the engagement and the communication around that too. I really, really think that people are underestimating how all of that and now the kind of implementation of AI is going to change the real estate game, and it's going to make it so homes have to have somebody who's an expert marketer and the expert negotiator packaged all together. And I think the only way for everything going on with the commission side to feel like it makes sense for buyers or sellers anymore is for these agents to step up the game, make sure that they are providing a level of service to their clients that cannot be beat. I really strongly have a mindset of if I'm not making my client 4 times over the amount that they're spending on their commission, it is not worth it. I would say don't hire me. Don't hire a realtor unless they're making back your money. And it's why realtors hire other realtors to sell their homes. When I sold my home, I did it. I just recently sold another realtor's home and we're paying commission. Now, I'm not talking about what percentages we're paying, but it's not 1%, I'll tell you that. It is actually because there is value there and you're getting the return because that person knows how to put their home on the market. I'll get off my soapbox today, but I really, really encourage you, if you're a realtor, to look into your business and how you are showing up for your clients. And if you are a potential buyer or seller, dive into that world as well and make sure you're getting the value, because that is changing. It's no longer agents who just put homes on the market. There is a lot more going on the back end. And if they're not doing it, then you have probably the wrong person. If you have other questions, leave a comment, reach out to me. I am your resource. I'll talk to you soon.